Welcome to episode 13 of our Antarctica Peru 2012 to 2013 Adventures series. In this episode, we're going to take a look at what life's like on a small cruise ship such as the Ocean Diamond. Now, to put things in perspective, the New Zealand Inter-Island ferry weighs in at 13,000 tonnes. Well, by comparison, the Ocean Diamond is only a mere 8,000 tonnes. And let's compare this with the Allure of the Seas, which we had booked on for 2015. That weighs 225,000 tonnes and costs $1.2 billion to build. But why would we go on such a small ship to the Antarctica, especially when we have to cross the dangerous Drake Passage? Well, the large cruise ships can't sail below the 65th parallel, otherwise they void their insurance. And for that reason, it cannot land on the continent, and besides, they have no provision for disembarking passengers onto land anyway, without proper facilities. But wait, there's more. Under the Antarctic Treaty, you can't disembark more than 100 passengers at any one time. So therefore, a small ship like the Ocean Diamond, which carries a maximum of 187 passengers, means that half the passengers can land, the other half cruise the bays in the Zodiac, and then at half time we swap over. Besides, in Antarctica there are no toilets, you're not allowed to leave any waste, any materials behind, so a long stay on the continent is not practical anyway. The Ocean Diamond is owned by Quark Expeditions, part of the UK company TUI Travel. Now, security is tight, which means that after a briefing at the Albatross Hotel, the next day across the road we all boarded on buses which took us to the ship for embarkation. It's a fairly quick process, and despite the long queues, soon we're in our cabin, in cabin 410, settling in.
This is good.
How do you like your cabin, Mrs.?
Yeah, it's nice.
Senorita? Senorita? Hey?
Nicer than I was expecting. Bigger. Definitely bigger. Do you want to look in the bathroom?
Yep.
Bathroom's quite good.
Hey, there's me videoing. Oh, I can have a bath. Oh, I should have got some rubber ducks or rubber penguins or something to, you know.
I think the best news today is that the Drake Passage is supposed to be calm for the whole week.
No seasick tablets for us then.
Bonus.
These flowers look really lovely. Oh, look at that. Oh. Oops.
Well, I think we should have done that.
No.
No.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wang Yan of cabin 437.
Not me.
Once again, Mr. Yang Wang of 437. Kindly proceed to reception, please. Thank you.
It's a lump of silicon in there, not water. The cabin was well appointed and was going to be a very comfortable home for the next 10 days. Next we did our dress rehearsals. Are you expecting to go somewhere cold, are you?
Yeah. I have hat. I have this.
You could masquerade as a seal or something.
I have this. Well, it's hot in this cabin, though. You wouldn't want to wear all this stuff.
Oh yeah, must see what the temperature is. Stifling in here.
This.
What's that?
Thermals. That one.
You look like a penguin already.
Yeah. This one.
Oh hey, that's a good idea. You could disguise yourself as a penguin, and walk right up to it, they won't even see.
won't
They
know.
won't know. Yeah, they'll think you're one of their
They
cousins.
might think I'm a seal.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
And they'll run for it.
Right.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, so hot.
On to Amalia. If you could please make your way to the expedition desk opposite reception on deck 4. So anyone who hasn't submitted their flight details for the end of the voyage to Amalia, could you please come and do so now so that they can arrange for confirmation and boarding passes and the like on their return. Thank you.
It's interesting when I said that there's still some bags there without
Is that right?
identification.
You know what the temperature's in here?
No.
It's 26 degrees.
Well,
Yeah, and also it's 24.5 depending on where the sensor is. And the humidity is quite low too, no wonder I'm so dry. It's only 40%. Everybody looks like a yellow penguin. Another yellow penguin coming up. Yellow penguin with a camera. And now for a look around the ship. And this time, Lillian will be our guide.
this is the main lounge. This is where we come for briefings and watching Frozen Planet in the evening if you want to, and yoga in the morning if you want that. Quite a nice room. Okay, this is the main foyer. You come in, it's reception, and then through here is the restaurant, just a small restaurant. Here's a gift shop. And down here is the bar, and where you come for coffee and tea. Hiya. Okay, this is the dining room. Because it's not open, the curtain is closed. But I'll show you inside. Quite a nice dining room. Here's the menu for tonight. Don't know if you can see that. The lifts. Down here is our cabin, but it's a long way down, so I'm not going to bore you with all the details of a walk down the cabin hallway. Okay, here's our room. 14. Everyone was advised to leave the key in the door so you don't lose it. And that works well. Looks a bit messy at the moment, but the cleaning lady has been, and it is clean. Just messy because we live in here.
The ship had all the usual mod cons, such as a gym, which no one used, and also a library, which no one seemed to use either. There was also a swimming pool which got no use during our trip, and of course a whole lot of technical stuff. Water, tea, coffee and refreshments were continuously on tap. Oh, thank you.
Did you want more than that?
The crew also consisted of world experts in Antarctica, and they were there to answer questions from us novices.
The Antarctic Peninsula is just a remnant of Patagonia. You know, it's all part of the same big mountain range, just been stretched around, rolled out over quite a few years.
Yeah, let's try out one of these canoes.
I don't think so.
Hey?
I don't think so.
Give you a race. Train for the Olympics. What nationality would put their shoes outside their rooms? Of course, we had to check out the qualifications of the ship's captain and his first officer, and as passengers, we were allowed onto the bridge pretty well any time. Not that any of the instruments meant anything to us. Most of the time the captain wasn't to be seen anyway, as the ship was often on autopilot. It was up here that I spotted the whales as seen in episode 1.
What do you think you're doing? Step away from that counter.
Wow! 8,000 tonnes I was steering now.
I feel so sick. Very seasick.
Go to Antarctica.
Just wonder if they want these numbers added up for them. I could do that. Just redraw them.
Okay, so what's 2 plus 2? It's recording the, looks like the barometric pressure. Yeah, that's a Hope barometric pressure device. There were the usual safety drills and briefings, which were brief.
As expedition leader, I get a sense there's quite a bit of excitement in the room, and we understand that we've just come back from Antarctica and we all can't wait to get back there and take you with us. It's a passion for all of us, and you'll all be touched by it. But we're going to give you a little bit of information now, and it's called a briefing because we'd like to try and keep it as brief as possible. But there's some things that's important to know about the ship. You'll have already found that there are these cards that open and close the doors, and some people have troubles with them, some people lose them, misplace them. What I do is I just keep mine in the door.
The scientists, as well as being part of the crew and doing research, also found time to share their knowledge with us. Woody, the expedition leader, gave us a rundown of what he does for the other 6 months of the year. Go to the Arctic, of course. Isaac Brown, a lecturer from Griffith University in Queensland, gave us photography tips. I learned quite a bit from him. You can get a Bachelor of Photography from this university. Here's a talk by Wolfgang Blummel, the Antarctic geologist.
This is just another diagram once again. This break plate, the separation of the South Shetland and the Antarctic Peninsula, schematically shown. So broken part, this is the Brainfield Basin, and an uplift of magma leading, for example, to Deception Island. Any questions so far?
Well, not surprisingly, there were no questions. So let's talk about the cuisine on board, which was 6-star quality. For our first night's dinner, we tried the small exclusive dining room. Oh, well, it's got washers in it, so you can have them. How is it? What is it?
Piece of broker.
Right.
Coconut rice. And asparagus.
For all our subsequent meals, we chose the main dining room so that we could dine with the crew and meet dozens of really interesting people. Lunches were buffet style, but evening meals were a la carte.
Instead of silver.
Yeah? So you lose some of the lentils?
Yeah, sometimes what they'll do is the
A main notice board at reception kept us informed of where we were and what was happening. But of course nerds like me knew where we were anyway, not that it mattered. As we got closer and closer to Antarctica, it got colder and colder, and I was forced to change my clothing mode. On a ship this size in the Drake Passage, there's a fair bit of roll, and even with the stabilisers operating, Lillian's hopes of not being seasick were dashed, and I didn't feel that hot either. We got an idea of how rough it could be when we saw this lockdown piano. Our first indication that we were in Antarctica was when we thought we saw plastic bags in the water.
Here, around the corner.
What's that in the water?
Where?
Just there.
Plastic bag.
Oh, fair go.
Look, here we are.
Did we think we saw some plastic bags a minute ago?
Yeah, that's right, we did. There's just ice.
Yeah,
Hey, here we are. Here, look, can you see that?
chunks of ice that we thought were plastic bags. We were worried sick. We were about to ring Greenpeace.
Yeah. Hey, we're at the bottom of the South Shetland Lines.
Yeah, he said that's coming up. You can see out the window there, see? Look at all the
Yeah.
ice.
Oh yeah, hey, there's sheets of ice out there.
I don't know that this camera will pick it up very well without being
Go
outside.
upstairs. I'll go upstairs. I'll go upstairs and take some shots.
There's a big sheet of ice. Quite cold leaning on this window frame too.
I should take my thermometer up there as well. See what the temperature is.
Yeah. Wow,
This
look at
coat's
the
so heavy.
ice. We've really come up fast on the ice.
Get a shot of us put this coat on.
Look at this, it's spectacular.
What?
Out here now.
Oh yeah, here.
This huge, massive sheet of ice in the water.
Here, I'll go upstairs and take a shot. This will be carried. The only downside of the temperature is you've got to put on this massive coat. It's so heavy. And you're not allowed to wear jandals here either, which is a giant nuisance. Take the old GPS up there so we figure out where we are.
Wow, look at this.
Yeah, I'll go up there and take some pictures.
That is a big ice floe. I'll turn the camera off and then Stephen can go upstairs and film. It's like a river of ice running through the ocean.
Oh yeah, that's spectacular.
Unbelievable.
The sun's come out. It's warmed up a bit. 5.9, that's the temperature in my pocket. We're now officially in Antarctica, and we just a few hours ago passed through the official parallel for it. And the temperature here in the cabin has steadily dropped also from 27 degrees to 25 degrees, and now it's 21 degrees, and humidity has dropped from 40 to 31, and now it's 25. And by the way, it's a freezing -2 degrees outside. It was after we'd crossed the Drake Passage and in calmer waters that we had the formal captain's welcome drinks and introduction to his team leaders. Any time before that, most of the passengers would have been sick, as Captain Peter explains.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, you can see I dressed a little bit up to pay my respect to this wonderful group of passengers. We are really happy to have a full ship on this cruise and to sail to the Antarctica. So welcome on board of the Ocean Diamond, welcome to our cruise to the Antarctica, and welcome, of course, also directly now to the Antarctica. We made it during wonderful weather conditions over the Great Passage, and it's hardly to understand why Neptune is on our side. We almost, at any cruise, we are expecting that a big bunch of passengers are so seasick that they really couldn't make a welcome dinner or a welcome reception. That's the reason we are always postponing it until we are over the hump, and the next day when we have the shelter here within the island and within the ice, then of course we are doing it. Maybe it's not necessary next time, but you never know how the situation will be. Well, my name is Peter. Make it easy, call me Peter, Captain, or Captain Peter. Forget about the family name. I live in Colorado, high up in the mountains. I'm holding dual citizenship. Still the German, you hear my accent, not only the Australian accent, easily to recognize, also the German probably, and I'm also American citizen since a long while.
After that, we had 4 full days of landing and exploring Antarctica, and this is covered in episodes 1 through to 11 in our Antarctica travel series. After each very cold shore excursion, and sometimes it was wet, a hot coffee was a real welcome relief. A highlight on the ship was the barbecue. The food was hot out of the cookers, but if you hesitated and chatted with fellow passengers, the food on your plate froze within a few minutes. Then there was the group photo, organising 183 people. The return journey to Ushuaia wasn't rough by Drake Passage standards, but it was pretty rough for us. Lillian was quite badly seasick, and I didn't feel that great either. There weren't very many people at the breakfast or dinner table for a couple of days. This is day 8 of our cruise, and we're now in the Drake Passage. The ship is rocking around quite violently, and the reason for it is that, if you can imagine, this is the boat and it's sailing north-south, and the wind is coming across. In fact, the wind is so strong, it's the whole boat. There you go. That's how it shows you how violent the boat is. I can't even keep the camera still. But you can hear the cabinets creaking as the boat flexes left and right and fore and aft. Yeah, we're not going to sink. I mean, the creaking is so loud that it just keeps going all night. Bang, creak, 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 and there's every now and again there's a huge bang as the bow hits the waves. And you know, this is not even rough conditions, but as I was explaining, the wind comes across and it blows creates the waves which rock the boat like this, and the boat's going like that as well. And it's quite strong wind, so the whole boat is on a permanent list of about 10 degrees. So you see people walking around on the boat, you know, like this, you know, like there's a wind blowing on them. So it's quite an experience, and so far I'm not seasick, but Lillian is a bit. and so are a lot of the passengers. So the restaurant's not quite as full as it normally is as a result tonight. But you know, that's sailing. We're finally back in Ushuaia. It's a song called "Oh What a Night," and oh what a night it was. And by the way, that noise that you can hear in the background, that rumbling, is the boat weighing the anchor. No, it's the captain weighing the anchor. I don't know why he weighs it every time. He weighs it quite often, in fact. You'd think by now he'd know how heavy it was. Anyway.
It was a pretty rough night.
Yeah. The Drake Passage was relatively smooth. It was so rough that...
The last little bit, wasn't it, really? The last 8 or 9 hours was rough. But prior to that, we were both really well. Stephen still managed well.
I didn't get sick.
Even with the rough weather, you could barely stand up.
No. And then when you're sleeping in your bed, because of the list of the boat, you tend to roll out of the bed. And not only that, when the boat's going up and down, it's like being in an aeroplane in turbulence. And 1 minute you're sinking right into the bed, next minute you're floating right out of the bed, and you've got to be careful you don't float right out of the bed onto the floor. Pretty exciting.
So this morning I'm having a slow start, and before breakfast they put on tea and coffee and these beautiful fresh baked Danish pastries, which you can help yourself to. So I thought I'd have that this morning before breakfast, and then maybe just have a light breakfast, because it's been quite rough overnight. Just take a gentle start to the day. Very nice boat. Can't complain about the boat in any way at all. Really good. Been very spoilt the whole trip. The staff are really kind and nice, and the weather's been fantastic, and both crossings of the Drake Passage have been what they call calm. So it's been great.
It's 8 degrees outside here.
Oh wow, it's warmed up.
Yeah, it's warmed up, 8 degrees. Up from the usual 1 or 0.
It does feel warmer, doesn't it?
When we got to Ushuaia, we were able to relax for a couple of days on the boat and recover from the Drake Passage crossing. We actually arrived a day early because one of the passengers suffered from a retinal detachment and lost the sight in one eye. So after disembarkation, she had to take a flight to Buenos Aires for treatment. That would be about another trip of 5 hours, and I'd say the chances of her regaining sight in that eye would be very slim.
I've only got one.
For the farewell dinner, some special desserts were made, and I took a selfie photo. Thank you. Quite different. Okay. On the day before disembarkation, on the 8th of December, we had the Captain's Farewell Cocktail Party in the Expedition Review, hosted by Woody, Expedition Leader.
Drink!
Yeah, fine, all right. Cheers!
Cheers!
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and take my shoes and candles as well.
Oh, you should have shown it. It's upset that you don't make an effort on cocktail night.
Oh, is that right?
I have to show you my best sweater.
I got myself in the picture there. I'm really showing off, aren't I? Look, it's me, look at me. So, but it was beautiful, beautiful day. I always find that when you you have the ship in the picture, and the ship looks so tiny, you just get that huge sense of scale of what a wonderful, incredibly grand landscape we were in, and how small we seem in that picture. So we came out of the Lemaire Channel into Plano and Peterman. We weren't going back through the Lemaire Channel. We weren't going to breathe in a second time. We sailed out through French Passage, and that was beautiful in itself. Lots of ice as we sailed out. So we came around the outer passage and back in this way. And the next morning we sailed into Paradise. Our first landing on the continent.
Woody gave an excellent expedition review, the details of which can be seen on another occasion. Next, there was a big thank you to the expedition support specialists. They were scientists who also had the roles of driving the Zodiacs, safety, guiding and landing assistance.
A big group of people, but also an incredibly rich and diverse group who I think got an incredible trip. So you hear lots of us talking, but it's the whole team that makes the trip, and so I'd like to say a big thank you to all of them.
Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. And thank you for being such a wonderful group to take with us to Antarctica. But there's one member of the expedition team that's yet to be thanked, and he keeps us all in line, and he makes sure that you are well looked after, that you have an amazing experience, and that your safety and well-being is being watched and cared for. He has earned the title leader. We respect him, we love working with him, and on a personal note, I have worked with Woody for 7 years, and I can only hope to work with him for at least that many to come. So please join me in thanking your expedition leader, Woody.
The final words were from the captain, Captain Peter.
Goodbye. It was a pleasure to sail with you. I wish you a pleasant flight home and always a happy landing. Thank you very much.
Who would like to head straight to the airport? For those of you going directly to the airport, please identify your luggage on the deck that you have been living on. For instance, if you are on deck 5, make your way to deck 5 and identify your...
Did you have a good trip? Did you have a good trip?
You identified your luggage.
I didn't. Nah, only joking.
To the bus that is waiting.
Just before we disembarked, we realised that we were on board with an Alex Chong impersonator and also a female Steve Martin impersonator. What a great time we had. The 10 days just seemed like a few hours.